Welcome back to Razmafzar TV. We are going to continue our talks on Ottoman arms and armor from Hermitage Museum. So I greet Bede. Bede, how are you today? How is everything with you?
I'm doing quite well. It's where they predict tonight it's going to be only 20 degrees, and we're going, yay! Unfortunately, in my house it's still 25 degrees. It's 9:40 at night. So that's probably not that comfortable. But I'm looking forward to it getting colder tonight. So maybe I'll get a good night's sleep. It's so hard to
Very
sleep in hot weather.
good. So let us just go Ottoman. Again, I would like to mention something to our members in this channel. Part of these Ottoman arms and armor, we talked with Bede on separate events, but not in the series of Russian Museum. For example, when we talked about Ottoman armor, I put all those things, pictures I took from different museums, right? And then we talked about them. So some of them might look familiar, but today we are going to not to talk about selected items, but the whole inventory I took pictures of. Okay, so let us and look at these beautiful helmets and a mail armor.
Oh yeah.
Look at them.
When you look at, say, the breadth of Anatolia in the east, you've got things that are very Persian-esque, like in the time of the Akoyanlu and things like that. So turban helmet in the lower center,
Mhm.
but there's some evidence that some Ottoman helmets were influenced by Mamluk helmets, and there's other helmets that are purely Ottoman in style. The extreme top right helmet looks very Tartar because the Tartar's like straight up sides and then conical tops. Um, but the brow um, extensions are typically Ottoman.
Yes. I just
They're
need
very
to say
practical.
something, Pete, regarding these items. We are going later on to talk about artillery and engineering museum. It's not only artillery engineering; they have also arms and
Yeah,
armor. And our colleague, the curators, who is a very good friend of mine as well, we wrote articles together, did lots of research. He told me Hermitage, as is proven, most of the things in Hermitage, I mean, over 95%, are diplomatic gifts or have were
yeah,
diplomatic gifts. But
yeah.
in Artillery Museum, most of them were booty during war.
Oh, captured in battle. All right, yeah.
Captured, yes. So, wars against Ottomans, wars against Iran. So, so that's why he said to me, the reason is when you come to Artillery Museum, you see many of these items have cuts on them, have some, you know what I mean? Have a,
That's
you
that's
know
the
what I
life
mean?
of weapons and armor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, you see. So I just want to say, but then again, both of them provide something very interesting in Russian museums to us. In contrast to, for example, let me just go back to American museum because it makes it a bit easier. In Europe, depends in Western Europe. But as you
hmm,
know that, for example, let's take whatever, I don't want to mention names, but the famed American museums, we all know our colleagues there.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Most of them are purchased on the art market in America. You know that. I'm not
yeah, yeah.
condemning
Well,
it,
yeah,
but it is, right? But then they think for us is when they talk, for example, in Hermitage about Ottoman arms and armor, they were diplomatic gifts by Ottomans.
yes, yeah,
That's what,
yeah. It's a
not
whole
that the
different thing.
curator sits and say, could it be Ottoman? It could be Persian. I just want to point this out. Why? As with Beat, we said it again and again, Russian museums are extremely important for us.
Yeah, they're a great historical resource because of that provenance, going back to when, say, Fath Ali Shah gave a shamshir to the Tsar. I mean, there's actual documents
Yes.
saying, "Oh, this was a gift on, like 1813 or whatever." And then you've got, I think, one of the swords that Fath Ali Shah gave to one of the Tsars actually had the whole fittings, the jewels, everything like that. That was all 19th century, but the blade was 16th century
Yeah.
because in Iran, in Afghanistan, in what's now Pakistan, like Sindh province,
Yeah.
valuable old blades were like jewels. Everybody wanted to have the best one. So it wasn't just a matter of oh, it's got, you know, 300 diamonds on it. But the blade was made in the 16th century and it's signed Asadullah Isfahani or whatever. And people really, uh, it's important to know that people of the time valued these things because it's really easy to get distracted. I mean, it's like in Japan. In Japan, people valued swords by famous sword makers.
Yes. Yes.
It was a thing that went on for 1,000 years.
Yes.
Same thing happened with Iran
Yes.
and Ottoman Turkey and Mughal India. That
Yes.
looks like an old helmet.
Yes. And I just put a close up of its rings, so you see they're all
Oh
riveted.
yeah, yeah. You can see the rivets. Yeah,
Yes.
it's good to see such finely made work. Mail was really functional armor. Weirdly enough, post gunpowder, because um, nothing was going to stop. I mean, there are breastplates that'll stop a bullet and that they're proofed and everything like that. But most armor that was practical to wear wouldn't stop a bullet. So you had to think, why am I wearing armor? And the answer is to stop people cutting my arm off or stabbing me or whatever. And mail was really good for that. And it lasted in the Middle East and northern India well into the late 19th century
Yeah. Yeah.
because in hand to hand combat, it was useful.
Very. Absolutely. Absolutely. Look at the shape, how much it protects the neck, the throat, and also the face beat.
Yeah, what's interesting, that's a quite a there's a lot of vertical rise on the side of the helmet, and the
Yeah.
dome is a beautiful curve, so it's really well designed. But you can see there's a lot of height in the side of the helmet, which is protecting the wearer. Notice the eyebrow ridges, like the openings to the eyebrow. You can see the fitting to take the nasal.
Yes. Here.
Um, and that's a really close fitting Aventail. The full, I mean, it goes up to here. It's a classic. If you look at Safavid miniatures, you will see somebody has taken the whole Aventail and hooked it over the top of the nasal so that their face is open. But when they're fighting, they can just flip it down.
Yes.
It's like having a visor in a Western European army.
Yeah. Yeah. And oh yeah, the nasal is missing. B, do you see? Is it a crack here? Look at this.
That does look like it's from a blow. Is there kind of like a stamp mark there, like a little sun face or
Yeah,
something
it
just
is.
below the crack?
It is.
Yeah, because that's forged from a single piece of steel,
Yeah.
and which is always a good thing. Um, you notice the finial is very similar to what you see on turban helmets.
Oh yeah, here.
So it's got two holes that cross each other.
Yeah.
Um, for attaching plumes and fittings and whatever. Probably it was never that plain when it was being worn,
Yes.
but you know,
B, just my apologies. I need to get out and to see if it's still functioning. Yes, it does. I'm sorry because it was blocked a bit. Okay.
mm,
Yeah, can you
yeah,
see it again? Yes. Okay, very good.
yeah, it's come back.
Yes.
I've disappeared. You're there, but I
Okay.
don't think I'm that important. Oh,
And look at
what's
these.
that?
Okay. I put there are two of them, you see. So there is one on
Yeah,
the right, and in the middle you see the chiseled surface of the
details. Yeah,
one. And on the left, okay, it's another helmet.
it's really interesting because you're looking at the difference. On the left is a turban helmet,
Yeah.
and that's just a name, and it's not a contemporary name. It's just what collectors call it.
Yes,
On the
correct.
right, I think in Arabic they call this mighfur.
Yes.
So it's a slightly egg-shaped helmet,
Yeah.
and this apparently started in the 14th century in Mamluk Egypt, and the Turks adopted it because it's a very effective helmet. But you can really decorate it. And look at the. I'm trying to see if that was a hat, you'd call that a visor. But
Yeah.
of course, when you're talking about helmets, people think of something that covers your face. But that brow rim, this is a classic Ottoman thing. It's really useful. You've got to think that it developed when people were shooting a lot of arrows at long distance because it's
Yeah.
very good at intercepting arrows that are coming down at a high angle.
Yeah.
Um, but it's also good for intercepting sword blades and directing them away from the face.
Yeah.
So it's a really good design, and Europeans thought so because they started making zishagas and other helmets that are based on these, though not that
Yeah.
skull shape. That skull shape is a particular thing you see in
Yeah.
Mamluk helmets and Ottoman helmets
Yes.
after the conquest of Egypt.
Bede, when I was preparing the slides for a talk today and I looked at it and this visor, and you know what
Mm.
I was thinking of? I was thinking, had Americans, had they existed, US Americans back then, the helmet on the right would have been their choice for the army because it looks like baseball cap.
Yeah. But then they'd want to wear it backwards, and
Oh,
that
yeah,
wouldn't
that's
work.
right. Then it doesn't work. Yeah, I didn't think about that one. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's funny because when there's been a couple of people that have discussed on the internet why didn't the Ottomans set up a colony in America, what eventually became the US. And there were lots. I mean, the Ottomans had efficient navies, and they had,
Yeah, they
I
did.
mean, Barbary corsairs who were basically privateers working for the Ottoman government in North Africa
Yeah,
actually reached Iceland and did a reasonably successful slave raid there. They raided the southwestern coast of England, Cornwall and Wales.
yeah,
So, I mean, the Ottomans had the seagoing capability, but they didn't have the desire to build colonies in non-contiguous countries. So
yeah,
quite happy to expand out through North Africa, quite happy to expand through the Balkans, always trying to expand into Iran. But um, that kind of thing of having a colony that was only joined to you by ships going backwards and forwards never really was a comfortable thought for them. I don't think. I mean, I'm not an expert, but it's my opinion. Notice the finial on the top of the nasal on the left hand
yeah.
turban helmet.
Oh, yeah, this one. Yeah,
Yeah, that's quite unusual.
yeah, it is.
I don't think I've seen one of that shape. I mean, I've only seen maybe 100 different ones, so I'm not an expert.
It
Um,
looks like a
but
tower. It looks like a tower, top of a tower or something.
yeah, look, I just had a really weird idea. It looks like a little man with his head with his arms out with a big skirt on his coat. So I got that whimsical effect like a cartoon character. But it that probably has a significance.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Somebody doing their PhD should think of doing a PhD on these helmets
Yes,
because
on
I reckon there's a
Ottomans. Yes,
lot of interesting
yeah,
background material and influences.
yes,
I'm looking at the decoration on the helmet on the right, which is basically hexagons
yes.
that get truncated on the horizontal
Hexagons.
band.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but it's really nicely done.
Very
See,
nice.
I do things like that when I do leather work,
Yeah,
and people really like it. There's something about hexagonal repeating patterns that people like,
yeah,
and you see it in tile work as well. Like tiles in mosques and things like that.
yeah,
And it appeals to humans' idea of symmetry and repetitive um, design.
yeah.
The
Very
whole
nice.
thing, the whole of that helmet is a masterwork of engraving,
Yeah,
and
master.
I'm assuming from the look of it, it was originally gilded as well,
Yes, yes. It was
or maybe
gilded.
just the high points were gilded.
Yes, yes. Gilded. Yes, it was
Yeah,
gilded.
yeah,
Yes.
but I mean that would have been so spectacular when it was being worn when it was originally made. Oh,
Look
that's
at
it.
this one.
Yeah,
On this one, you can
look at
recognize patterned crucible steel there, right? Look at the
yeah,
beauty.
and look at how just by fluting it with those fine flutes, they've created a dense pattern, a texture which really stands out. Now that helmet is in that Mikhfar type design, but it's not as egg shaped as the earlier one. This
Yes.
is more um, restrained. But look how beautiful a helmet it is. You can see bits and pieces that were riveted around the rim to take. Well, you
Pete,
can
we
obviously
discussed that
see the
in our
size.
former video when we were talking about Ottoman helmets from different European and American museums. Take a look at this device, this spring. Look at this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you can pull the nasal up, pull the spring out, and then clip
Yes,
it in. Because the
clip it.
nasal and the support, the part that holds the nasal, are gone, but the rivet holes are still there.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's such a. It's like inventive. Like people were not just, oh, we'll do it like grandfather did it, and they think, wait a minute, we can make this better just by doing this. Because the spring idea probably came from firearms because they were using
Yeah.
external
Yeah.
springs
Yeah.
on firearms, and they
Yeah.
thought, wait a
Good
minute,
point.
maybe we could apply the same idea
Yeah.
because nasals have to be a problem. I mean, I've ridden a horse wearing a helmet with a nasal.
Yeah.
They're really a problem. Luckily, it was a fixed nasal, so it didn't move all over the place. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't. Look, if you train, you get used to it. But it was very disturbing for me because you just really want to see what's going on around you, and the nasal is this kind of shadow in your vision.
Yes. Pete, look at
Yeah,
this.
that's beautiful. This is a Sultan level helmet.
Yeah.
I think one of Suleiman the Magnificent's helmets was quite similar to this.
Yeah.
Look at the beautiful piercing on the top of the nasal.
Unbelievable.
It is so good. It is so elegant. It's so symmetrical.
Yeah.
I mean, and of course, it's also so fragile. So someone swings a sword at you, they can dent that really badly. But of course, if you're wearing a helmet like this, you're not too worried about that. Either you're really good yourself, or you've got a group of guys standing next to you who are really good. But that's you see the same thing in Iran for the uh, pierced steel objects that were used in the processions.
Yeah.
For Hussein and
They
it's
still
just
make beautiful things today for Hussein
yeah.
processions. Beautiful things they make.
The,
Yes.
the the kind of tradition of piercing steel, it produces really great art because it's so hard to do
Yeah.
that you're not going to just do something simple and bland. You're going to go
Yeah.
to a bit of trouble to get a really good design.
Pete,
This style of design, which you see in leatherwork, in
yeah.
Turkish leatherwork as well.
Yeah. Last time we
Um,
talked about the level of gold overlay and inlay which they kept in India and Iran. In Iran
mhm.
also they kept completely steel piercing technology. They can make it
Yeah,
for you today by hand. They can make it
yeah,
today. Yeah.
and it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
if you had a pierced steel object of exactly that shape and
Yeah.
mounted it on a stand and put it in your gallery or whatever it was where
Yeah.
you kept your artworks,
Yeah.
it would stand out.
Yeah.
People would like it, and they wouldn't even think about helmets or war or anything like that.
Yeah.
They would just see the because to me, I'm looking at this because I use these kind of designs when I'm designing quivers and that for the decorative medallions on them,
Yeah.
and I'm looking at just how well that's been done, and it's overlaying, underlaying. It's very complicated, even though it looks straightforward. If you look really carefully, you can see some of the stems go under the other stems and come over other stems.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful piece of art. But the helmet itself, look at that subtle fluting.
Oh yeah, excuse me, I'll go back there. Yes, this
Yeah,
one.
that's about. Look at that subtle fluting to make that helmet
This is magnificent.
really stand out.
Sultan level helmet, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And look at this beautiful armor, Joshan armor.
Oh, isn't that good?
Yeah.
So the well, I'm going to call them belly plates because they actually cover you from the bottom of the rib cage down to your navel,
Yeah.
effectively,
Yeah.
and that's a very vulnerable part of your body.
Yeah.
Now, you can see there are the remains of straps and buckles, but there's no buckles left. But those gilded rosettes. The ones on, I'm going to try and do this, the proper left, which is the right as we look at it,
Yeah.
um, they are the straps, and the other side where the rosettes are further away from the edge, that's where the buckles would be.
Yeah.
I mean, the leather disintegrates. All those things are gone. But if you look really carefully, you can see every one of those plates has been engraved,
Yeah. Everyone. Everyone.
and it's very high quality engraving.
Yeah.
Um, the I'm looking at the little bosses going up the mail,
Hmm.
which seem to be there may have been straps there as well to keep the top of it closed.
Yeah.
The rings that are holding it closed now, these have been put on like 300 years ago to make it sit
Yeah.
on a stand properly.
Yes.
It would have been fully front opening, and then you do it up and you do up the strap.
Yeah.
The helmet is a kind of development of a Mizurka helmet,
Yeah.
which is just a flat disc on your head. But see, they've got a row of fine plates all the way around to create the sides
Yeah.
of the helmet,
Yeah.
and they're
Let me
held
show
in
it.
place by mail.
Yes. Here.
Yeah, I mean that's really nicely done. Then you've got mail, and then the earpieces are directly attached to the mail. There's no
Directly.
helmet to attach them. This is such a good design,
Yeah.
and oh, that mail looks really strong.
Very strong. Riveted, strong. Yeah.
Yeah,
Really nice.
that it's an interesting thing. Say in Turkey and Iran, these type of armors are nearly all um, short sleeved. Whereas when you go to India, they made
Yeah.
very fine
It's
sleeves,
true.
which are so beautifully made.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
again, when I say India, it's India and Pakistan and Bangladesh
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
It's the Indian subcontinent. I'm not picking out one modern country
Yes.
because they're all full of craftsmen of great skill. I love those little earpieces are so kind of so cute.
They made
Um,
holes in it as well. Do you see that?
yeah, yeah, so you can hear properly.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really, really nicely done. I love these little rivets through the mail, or the rivet heads that we're seeing with their kind of like eight-spoked wheel shape,
Yeah.
which is basically a flower. They're depicting a flower. But look at the consistency and the regularity of the mail in that center panel.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
I mean, this is all handmade,
All hand. Yeah.
but it looks like it's come out of the most advanced machine.
Yeah.
And
Unbelievable.
oh yeah, this is good quality. And you can see the rivets and everything. Everything is there. Oh, this is a beautiful turban helmet.
Yeah.
Again, the finial, they're all pretty much the same, like this kind of weird polygonal thing with four holes intersecting through it and
Yeah.
then a little knob on the top, which I think he mounted plumes and all
Yeah.
kinds of things. I love the ones that have that sinuous, um, curved
Yeah.
fluting, as
Curved
opposed the straight
floating.
fluting is
Yeah.
beautiful, but this is
Not
kind of
straight.
next level.
Curved. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, and they call them turban helmets sometimes because people said, oh, they wore turbans under them. But when you look at the actual diameters in that, you could just fit a padded cap under it, really.
Yeah.
Uh, but other people call them turban helmets because when they've got that sinuous fluting around them, it actually looks like cloth wrapped around them, though
Yeah.
very stylized. I don't think either one is of practical use. I think they did the kind of flattened S shape uh, curves because it was attractive, not because they were trying to imitate something. I
Yeah.
think, you've got to think of how many geometrical things were in Turkish art and Persian art and Middle Eastern art in general. It was a thing that they liked. And repetition in a restricted area to make everything else stand out even more was another characteristic. And you look how the inlay and the gold work and the engraving really stands out, even though
Yeah.
it's very worn. I mean, the gold has worn down and everything over
Yes.
300 or 400 years. I'm sure this
Yes.
is 400 years.
Yes.
Um,
Beautiful. Yeah.
yeah, these are amazing things. Oh well, we're really going all the way with this one, aren't we?
There's so many of them, it's unbelievable, right?
So this has got. I mean, you've got to think. There's a smith sitting down, and these are often woods. He's sitting down with a little stake and his hammer, and he's hammering out all these shapes. He anneal the metal, hammer out another one, anneal. I mean, this would take weeks to make,
Yeah, peaks.
and then the engraver comes in and starts engraving it, and then the background, and then the gilder. I mean, at least three workshops have to work on these to get them
Yeah,
to this level.
yeah.
And well, they, because we make things with 3D printing and all kinds of stuff. I think, and I could be wrong, because there's a lot of people out there more intelligent than I am, but I think a lot of people just don't think about how much work goes into
Yeah,
something like this.
absolutely. And another one. This time
Wow,
the
that's
fruiting straight, right?
yeah. But I'm looking at the top of the nasal. That's really quite.
Yeah,
It's like the pierced one, except it's not pierced. It's got embossed and
it's,
engraved and whatever.
it's
But
unbelievable.
these helmets now, these are associated with well, originally with the Karakoanlu and then the Akkoanlu, like people like Uzun Hassan and these famous fighters of the 15th century.
They can
And
get the surface speed.
yeah, I mean that's entirely engraved and
Yeah,
gilded, because the flowers have gilded petals, I can
yeah,
see now.
gilded as
So they've got five petal flowers. They're really attractive.
well. Mm,
The whole thing is beautifully done, and you can imagine what it would have been like when it was new.
yeah.
I mean, this is stunning stuff, and this would have been worn into battle. These are not,
No, no, these are worn in
um,
battle. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
this ceremonial armaments wasn't a thing for them. Wow, now we've got three entirely different types of helmets.
Yes, three entirely different.
Um, so the one on the left
Mhm.
is very Ottoman in its migfar shape with the
Yeah,
kind of egg-shaped dome.
yeah.
I love the top of the nasal there is quite different looking. It's like three feathers on a aigrette or something.
Pete, do
Then,
you remember when we were talking about Ukrainian museum and they have many Tatars there? And the
yeah,
same helmet, the Tatar helmet from Ukrainian museum in the middle. Do you remember?
yeah, that's very much a Tata style helmet. Interestingly enough, helmets of this type are in the Met Museum that almost certainly came from northern Iran.
Yeah.
So that there was influence between the two.
Yes.
Because you remember in some Persian miniatures, you see a very tall helmet with a little flag on the top.
Yes, yes, they have it in
That's what
Persian
these are related to.
miniatures. Yeah.
And then the one on the right
Mm.
is the type that I think led to the Zichaga in European helmets, because it's got a more even dome
Yeah.
sitting a bit lower against the head, which means it's less of a target. Um, the big visor covering,
Mhm.
well, it's shading the eyes to some extent, but it's also stopping blows coming into the face.
Yeah.
And of course, the earpieces. So eventually in Europe, they'd start putting laminated neck defenses, and then it became a lobster pot helmet. Not in the sense of a lobster pot you catch lobsters in, but a pot helmet with a lobster tail.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
there's a lot of thought and work's gone into that.
So these were the
Oh,
helmets. Now we go
oh,
to
this is
some
nice.
interesting stuff.
Oh, yes.
The blade is made of patterned crucible steel. We have similar examples in Iran, right? Shamshirs with patterned crucible steel, very sharp and wavy blade, flambeurs. And this is the
Mhm.
Ottoman version.
And they also have the silver wire
Yeah,
um, sewing to hold
yeah.
the well, that's got a green velvet cover for the scabbard, which I've seen a few in person. These are so beautifully finished that it's hard to believe that they've ever come out of the arsenal in 400 years, but they were worn into battle.
Yeah.
Um, the you see that characteristic mouth of the scabbard where the langets of the quilling block fit into little slots, which stops the sword rattling in the scabbard.
Yeah.
Um, now, I could be wrong about this, but it is my opinion. Normally, that stitch line is on the side of the scabbard against the body,
Yeah.
and the two rings are very close together. So I think this is one of those swords that flipped over when you suspended it from your belt, and it was meant to actually sit edge up. I could be entirely wrong, but all the ones I've seen where the two supports for the straps are really close together, often that's at the point where the scabbard will tip.
Yeah, the tip.
And
Yeah.
it, yeah, but that's a I mean, the silver work on the grip and the scabbard is absolutely beautiful.
Very good. Really nice. Okay.